Hey, put on your seatbelt. Let's go.
All right, turn up the music.
Can't wait for camp this summer. Will he be there? I wonder. I know I won't wanna go home. Never felt so good in my skin. In the heat we're feeling something. I know we won't wanna go home. There's a killer on the loose. Look out, he's right behind you. He won't give me the axe. I'm scared, but I'm fighting back. We are the Scream Queens, running through the night. We are the Scream Queens, gonna put up a fight, make everything alright.
And welcome to Scream Queens Road Trip Podcast. That is your final girl, Miss Justine.
And over here, to my left, your soul survivor. And that you just heard is our new intro song by the Bad Athletes. It's Scream Queens.
We are so excited to have our new intro song.
We are the Scream Queens.
It fits perfect with us. We're so excited. And yeah, new year, new us.
Yeah, new year, new song. And we are covering Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
So, new year, new nightmare, guys.
It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new twat!
Oh, yes, that's right. We are heading to Tulsa. we are currently on, I don't know what little highway. We're about to be on Highway 18. We're on some back rural highway heading to Tulsa.
Yeah.
We're kind of taking the long way so we can cruise and talk to you guys and not have to stop at tolls.
Yes, you don't have to hear our toll person into action.
So we're just cruising at a gentle speed of 60 on some highway that we don't know.
The gentle speed.
A gentle speed of 60.
Well,
We're in my sound booth this time.
Yes, we're in Soul Survivor Josh's sound booth.
Her name's Lori, in case
Cruising.
we've never told you.
Yes, this is baby Lori. She's taking us on a little drive.
Up to Tulsa to the Circle Cinema to see Heather Langenkamp's star/circle
yeah.
on the Oklahoma Walk of Fame. She's there amongst people like Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
Who I'm sure lots of others.
What's funny is I didn't bother to look any of that up. There is.
We've been there
obviously,
before
yeah.
too, which is funny.
I just.
A little backstory to this. In November
You're gonna
of
give them the backstory?
2014, we were present when she was awarded her circle
Yes.
on the Walk of Fame. It's a circle because it's out front of the Circle Cinema. It's the whole little avenue there. I think it's Tulsa Avenue. There's a block worth of stars from Oklahoma's names and stuff.
Yeah.
And,
It's cute.
yeah, she was there with Freddy on the 30th anniversary.
Robert Englund.
Yes, Robert Englund. They were there on the actual night of the 30th anniversary of Nightmare on Elm Street. It was a really cool night.
We were there, and they were there.
And it
We
was
sat
awesome.
in the front so we could get front row seats in front of their faces.
Yeah, we just marched right up front, sat down front row.
Acted like we own that.
And then we were just
fucking shack.
gushing and smiling ear to
Cheese
ear.
festing.
Yeah, cheesing it up, just taking it all in.
It was prior to our first
Convention.
Nightmare convention, so we just had ourselves this. I don't know. I was just in complete just awestruck.
Yeah,
Just
it was.
Oh my god!
Same. It was the first time we had ever that we'd seen them. And
Yes.
We've done a Nightmare on Elm Street episode, so if you've heard it before, Nightmare on Elm Street means a lot to us. It's my all-time favorite horror movie, and then it's up there with.
It ranks up there for me.
Yeah.
The Exorcist is like my sweet little baby angel.
Yeah.
So
And I love The Exorcist too, but like.
we've also covered The Exorcist.
Yes, both are great. But anyways, tangent. We're also going to go visit her high school, Heather Langenkamp's high school.
Because she's from Tulsa town.
And research be damned, we cannot find like her house. We were trying to find like her childhood home.
Yeah, I might have been like creepy on the internet too about it. Like, does anyone know where Heather Langenkamp lived?
Yeah, we went as far.
Oklahoma?
The only thing we didn't do was reach out to Heather Langenkamp. Like, what was your
I just thought that
childhood?
might be inappropriate.
Yeah, so
but
just whatever. We're gonna see her high school, go to her Walk of Fame. We're just gonna like
be in her steps.
We're gonna be thinking of Heather Langenkamp today.
I'm gonna touch the wall and be like, did Heather touch this wall?
She was at this high school. I think she touched this high
Did she
school
learn
wall.
in this hallway? How about in this classroom?
It smells like Heather.
Was there a little learning going on?
This is where she learned her ABCs and her 1, 2, 3s. Perhaps.
Perhappy?
They're like, it's a high school. Hopefully she already knew her ABCs and her 1, 2, 3s before she got here.
Yeah. Hopefully she was doing a lot of like social emotional growth and like algebra.
It's two most important things in high school: social, emotional growth, and algebra.
You never know when you're gonna use it.
One you might use more than the other, but
And we're not gonna.
we won't go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're excited for this episode 72.
Yep, it's Wes Craven's New Nightmare, 1994.
Believe it or not, this movie is directed by Wes Craven.
Are you sure? Really? It's written and directed? Wes Craven's New Nightmare is written and directed by Wes Craven?
Isn't that something?
Huh. Well, I'll be darned.
Yeah, so this movie premiered like 10 years after the original. The original came out in 84. And what's so funny, he's already an icon. Just 10 years later, they refer to him as, they say things like, he's like Santa Claus. Everybody knows who
It's like
Freddy
Santa Claus
is.
is like King Kong.
And it's true, like, growing up, I was born in 83, so I guess there was 1 year of my life without Freddy, but I don't remember a time without Freddy Krueger. It's like this entity, this being, this thing that you grow up just hearing about, seeing, and when you're a child, he is terrifying.
It's like I knew who he was before I had actually seen A Nightmare on Elm Street, just because he was in the zeitgeist. He was pop culture.
Yeah, he's kind of like the most iconic of the slasher killers. And I mean, I love me some Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees, but there's some things a little extra special about Freddy, and I think it is because he has a personality.
He talks, he interacts with you, he can be silly, sometimes sillier than we would like, or, Yeah. But, so here we are, we're, and this is a big kind of like meta touch of Wes's to have this new nightmare be based in reality, quote, reality.
Yeah, it's really cool that he was kind of doing this 2 years prior than even Scream. Like, he was way, ahead of his time. That's the
and being
thing.
referential, and he's just a master creator.
He was meta before we even knew that term.
Yes.
He was meta before there was meta.
Oh my god, he's like meta. And we have John Saxon that'll return in this.
Good old gruff daddy.
Good old daddy man from the original, an OG.
We have baby girl Heather Langenkamp, of course.
Yes.
The inspiration for this whole episode.
Yes, we have Robert Englund.
Of
then
course.
we have
he's Papa Bear, Freddy.
Perfect little kid of the 90s, Mila Hughes, who, was in everything.
Miko.
Oh, Miko.
And she knows that, too. I'll vouch for you. I'm like, I know you know his name's Miko.
Miko Hughes.
We've seen him at conventions.
Yeah. So anyways, he's going to be popping in a lot. This is a lot his movie as well.
Yeah, you'll see
he's
sprinkles of faces
a final
from
kid.
part one. Like, like there's a, just sprinkled throughout. There's people from the industry in the movie. It's really cool.
Yeah,
it's
Robert
so
Shea
cool.
is there. Lynn Shea.
Yeah, Robert Shea, Lynn Shea. And I loved how Lynn Shea was peppered in a lot of New Line movies back in the
Yes.
80s and 90s. Like, she's in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. She's hilarious in the New Line, like, Farley Brother movies, where she's, like, Kingpin. She's nasty.
Oh,
in
yeah, and
Kingpin.
she does the whole, like, tongue, like...
Yes. And then she's like the crazy tanned neighbor in There's Something About Mary.
Yes.
Like,
Oh my god.
You know, now she's known for horror. She's become kind of quite the like horror icon. But there was a time when like she was fucking hysterical.
Yes.
And, like, you know, definitely a character actress.
It's got some comedic levels. She's versatile.
And when she
Transformative.
does do comedy, like she goes there. It's fun.
Yes. She will. Lick
So
her
little
fingertips
nepotism,
and-
you know, her brother's
her-
Bob Shea,
yeah.
the, you know, head of New Line. Or I think, I can't remember if he's retired or if he's still the head of New Line.
We'll look it up and we'll talk about it.
But you
in
know
the
what? She's cool.
second party.
I like her. I
Yeah.
don't mind it.
And then Wes Craven
Yes.
is in it as well.
He becomes a thespian in this movie.
A thespian.
Not a lesbian, a thespian.
Well, you know, he
There'd be
just-
nothing wrong with that.
He doesn't even pull like a little Hitchcock. He pulls a Hitchcock in Scream, but he just is full on in this movie.
Yeah. He's like, I'm like making this nightmare a
And he's
reality.
a very important like character to this movie.
He's having nightmares.
Yes.
That
It's
writing-
Wes Craven's new nightmare,
and
guys.
he's turning it into a screenplay, and that screenplay is becoming reality.
Because it's Wes Craven's new nightmare.
Nightmare.
He's having a nightmare. It's new,
It's new, and it's Wes
and it's
Craven's.
his. And
And
that's
it's-
what's going to make this movie
And it's a
everything that it
nightmare.
is. We're going to find that out, too.
We
So
will.
let's get balls deep into it, okay?
Let's do it. So the movie starts like A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
You see someone, just the hand.
Getting a hand job.
We have. It would be a very painful one. We had
Because
that
it's, like,
classic.
robotic
that-
and-
yeah, the classic score. Oh, is it Charles Burns? Not Charles Bernstein. Who did the? We'll come back. Part 2. We'll tell you who did the score.
I didn't write anything down. Pardon me. I'm over here just doing it.
She's
for
singing
them.
it. She'll tell you.
You
it
know?
is.
Okay, so we've got like our classic claw setup. He's putting his glove together.
But this-
It's razor sharp robotic movement.
Yes, this time it's robotic, mechanical.
It's robotic. It's got like
Mr. Roboto.
and you can tell by the sound effects that it's really fucking sharp. Okay, it's like
Justine, did you do the Foley work for this movie? Did you do the sound effects? Because that was
Yeah.
fucking perfect.
Well, thank you very
Oh my
much.
gosh.
I appreciate that. Now I'm getting the credit that was deserved to me so many years ago.
And I'm sure we didn't write sound design
No,
down either
no,
to tell
I'm like,
you who actually did
I'll
the
have to
sound
like
design.
just get balls deep into it. I love how no, we're not getting balls deep into it. Actually, we're gonna have to follow up balls.
We'll follow up some deep balls later.
Yeah, I mean probably even before that. We're gonna get balls deep. We'll get balls deep into the story. So we've got it being put together, but then we can see more of what's going on, and it's kind of the making of a movie.
Yeah,
It's a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
Yeah, things start getting intense. Like, it's building up.
Daddy
As
West
he's
is there.
making the glove, you see someone pull out like a hatchet and cut his arm off, and then you hear, "Cut! We need more blood!" And you realize, oh, we're on a movie set. This isn't... Freddy's not really making a new glove.
No, and like Wes Craven's all like, cut! Print that! Yeah! Shit!
It's something like that. But and then we kind of pull back. We see the special effects team working. We see Heather Langenkamp on set. We hear people talking to her like, "Heather, you're wanted on set."
And she has her son with her, Dylan.
Dylan,
And her husband is a
Chase Porter.
special effects maker, so he's on the set as well. And there's these two technicians that are working with the Freddy glove.
Chuck and Terry.
Chuck and Terry and Chuck, actually. They don't always like to go by Chuck and Terry, Josh.
Yeah, sometimes Terry needs
To
some
be in the
credit.
front.
He needs
Yeah.
to be
He
front
needs to be in the
center.
front.
You know, he's an autonomous human being. Freddy.
So, okay,
Don't group him in.
Chuck and Terry and Chuck, they are working on the claw, and we see it start to kind of like move all by itself.
By itself.
And we're a little
like,
scared.
wait, is someone still controlling this? But no, the hand jumps up and starts running across the table.
Like skittering around, kind of Adam's
Very
family,
Adam's family, but with claws.
Yeah, like with
but,
like razor
big knife.
sharp. And then it's not like helpful, it's destructive. It's like breaking shit, and then it gets to like gutting some people.
Yeah, it starts killing Chuck and Terry.
Terry and Chuck.
Cherry. And I mean, of course, people are screaming. They're kind of upset.
Yeah, it's a little bit of chaos going on, and we see Heather Langenkamp trying to locate her son.
She
and
gets separated by him by like a partition. People just walking by.
She
Who
can
apparently
see
don't
him.
hear all the mayhem of people getting killed. There's like
They're
still
just
like,
people
yeah,
making
people.
the set and dressing things.
like just
and,
another day in Hollywood.
Yep. Oh, there's people dying over there, and there's a robotic hand animated all on its own, like stabbing itself into somebody's chest. Oh, hey, but we've got to move this.
And then she looks over Heather and she sees the hand going for her husband Chase. She starts screaming, but then all of a sudden everything starts shaking.
Shaking, and like her titties are shaking.
She wakes up with her
She's
titties shaking.
shimmying, she's shaking, making the bed just move and bounce. And
they
you
aren't.
think it's a sex scene, but it's not.
It's not. Chase is waking her up from a nightmare in an earthquake.
They're having an earthquake right now. It's happening. Like, there's shit breaking.
This is not lovemaking. This is earthquaking.
No, and he's like bleeding, and she's like, why? Why are you bleeding?
She's like, I saw your hand get cut in my dream, and now your hand is cut.
In the same place.
And so this has to mean Freddy.
It's... I like how that is the connection immediately. Like, so
It kind of is. Like she's
so it's
automatically sus.
Yes.
Like from the
For Freddy.
Yeah, like right away.
It takes.
But we are then kind of introduced to the concept that something has been going on for a while. She's been getting threatening phone calls.
They're having a chat because he is probably going to have to go away for like 48 hours to do some work. He's got to meet Chuck and Terry because, guys, Chuck and Terry, apparently they didn't really get attacked. That was all a part of a dream. And so...
And he tells her he's going to the desert to shoot a like soap commercial.
Yes.
But there's a little bit more to it that he leaves out.
Oh, yeah, let's just say he's omitting the truth. And by the way, that's dishonest.
That's called lying.
It's lying.
Lying by omission.
It's like you're not saying it, so you don't get caught in a lie, but...
You're still lying.
You're lying because you didn't say the whole truth.
Yeah.
Soap commercial? My ass.
You're making a new Freddy glove, Chase Porter.
And I bet you he isn't even going to make sure that he has a clean ass with that soap.
Oh my god. It's like those weird commercials that's
Yes.
like, your ass still stinks in the shower if your son smell like ass or something.
Yes. That's an actual commercial.
That's an actual commercial we saw, and it kind of blew our minds. We were like, what is this commercial?
So apparently, if you wash your ass with the soap, and then you smell your hand, and it smells like ass, then you are not clean. You need to be sudsing that hole up until when
it
you
squeaks,
pull it back.
until there is not a cent
That
to be had.
sniffer better register that soapy soap. None of that dingleberry
No, for
nonsense.
real. Look it up on YouTube. It's a real commercial.
It's a real commercial about how you know when your butt's clean.
And I think they're selling soap.
Yeah.
too.
Yes, it is like a soap commercial, but they are letting you know that this is, I guess, the proper way. I hadn't ever thought.
Oh, God.
Okay, but that's not what he's doing.
Yeah, he's
But
not doing that commercial.
He's not doing that commercial, but he says he's going to do a soap commercial. Okay, so Dylan's also like screaming, and he is just kind of acting a little strange.
He's
and
kind of a
talking
pow-pow
about
fish.
Yeah,
Dylan.
he's
always,
talking about like him and Rex are having some sad thoughts.
and he's a little boy. He's very cute, but gosh, he's crazy. Like, no. I'll be gentle about my
He's crazy.
I'll be gentle with my language.
Yeah, no. He's having episodes.
He's having
is what they refer
episodes.
to. That he's having episodes and he's telling his mom about like dreams that he's having where there's like a scary man. And they have a scary man that's like calling their house. And he calls in this scene it's a lot of exposition that's kind of like happening in this scene. We're learning a lot about the family and learning what they're going through at the moment with the stalker caller and the episodes with their son.
Yeah, someone is calling, and they're also leaving letters in the mailbox, and it's like literally a letter. They're leaving a piece of paper with a letter on
Written
it.
on it, yeah.
Written on it, and she's keeping them in order. Like, she keeps getting them, she's keeping them in a stack.
She's got him like in a little Ziploc bag that she keeps.
And she
in
knows
her,
they're gonna spell out something.
her little pussy pocket.
And
She
her
just-
son Dylan, like you said, is having fits. He also has this, and this comes into play. He has this dinosaur named Rex that he puts at the foot of the bed because the bad man comes through the sheets under the bed.
Yes.
And Rex keeps him at bay.
Keeps him from going crazy. And anyways, we learn that a little bit later because there's an attack. Someone gets attacked. So Heather's husband, though, he's got like those similar injuries to what she had in the dream, but we also learn that like they are having earthquakes a lot. So there's a lot of association to like, no, you're just like, because we're having all these earthquakes, you're having some pretty terrible dreams. And then the phone call comes and she answers it, and it's
The bad guy again.
2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4. And she hangs up, and then he calls back again, and he's like, "Better shut that door!" Like, and then she hangs up, and there's another phone call, but it's the limo driver, and she's all like, "Fuck off!" And he's like, "I'm just here to tell you
I'm
you're
picking
limo
you up,
here."
man. And the babysitter Julie comes over to take care of Dylan, and she's like, Dylan, because Rex got tore up, right?
Not yet. That
Not
happens after she goes to New Line.
After she goes to New Line.
Yeah,
okay,
so
so
just
Rex
let me-
is still in perfect condition.
Yeah, he's still in perfect condition. So Heather leaves to do a morning talk show because she's a working actress. She's got a lot to do. She's got to take questions from people. She's on a show. She got a TV show. And it's the 10-year anniversary of Nightmare on Elm Street.
So, of course, that's what the talk show host is wanting to talk. And she's kind of maybe trying to steer it in another direction. It's like, yeah, I do a lot of TV now. I'm a mom. And then he's, keeps bringing it back to Freddy.
Yeah.
and
and you have a son? Have you let your son see any of your early movies?
And she's like,
does he know
"Bitch,
about
please."
Freddy?
She's like, "Bitch, please, he's 4. And he names his pet Rex. And Rex is a T-Rex. He has no imagination yet. I'm not letting him.
Not ready for
He's
this.
not ready for this.
So, he asks, like, would you ever do another one? Would Nancy ever team up and see Freddy again? She's all like, no. And then he's like, I don't know about that. And there's a Robert Englund crashing through, like, the back of the scene.
Like the partition. He comes
and
crashing
he's like,
in.
all like, hey, guess what? I'm crashing.
I've come to crash the party.
I'm crashing.
And of course the crowd goes wild. He takes over her show. You know, she's there trying to promote shit, and then now everybody's there for Freddy. And this is even brought to light in the next shot where the show's over, but there's a long line for everybody to see Freddy, but no one's there for Heather.
Yeah, like there's autograph signing, but it's not for her.
So he kind of took her light away.
But he's all like, well, people love us together.
We need to make another movie.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know.
I'm a mother.
I'm a mother now, and mothers can't make horror movies. That's
Mothers
just not
aren't
a motherly
in horror
thing
movies.
to do.
That's not what you do when you're a mother. You just don't do horror movies.
You have to mother.
When you're a mother, you can't do a horror movie. Have you ever seen a mother in a horror movie? Don't answer that. So, but she does learn she gets a phone call, and it's like, hey, Heather, come to New Line Bob really wants to talk to you. Okay, thanks. Bye.
The car will bring you over.
Okay.
And
Okay, bye.
And, then Heather's, like, feeling herself. She's like, yeah, you know what? I'm looking fucking good right now.
Uh-huh.
I'm in this, like, really shape-showing...
Two-piece.
black suit,
Mhm.
short skirt. She's like, my hair's looking fierce. My makeup's on point. I'm the best Heather's...
Lips busting.
I'm
eyes
the best
popping.
Heather
Mhm.
Langenkamp has ever looked on screen right now.
That-
Okay?
Yep, okay. So anyway, she walks in pretty confident to the New Line Cinema.
She does look pretty fierce in
Yeah.
this movie.
And
Fairest
but
queen.
there's a moment where she's trying to like get checked in with the secretary, and the secretary gives her like a look up down look, like you're here to see Bob.
It's
And she-
expecting you.
She slaps her in the face. She's like, "Bitch, I was requested to get here."
She's like, New Line is the house that Freddy built,
That's
bitch.
right. Step, girl, before you get stepped on. And then she put her finger like so far into that bitch's eyeballs.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say cooter or something. I was like waiting for it. But you went with eyeball. That's
Yeah.
gross. That's cool.
Yeah. She pulled it out and then she ate it. And then she was like, all right, I'm going to go see Bob now. So she goes into Bob's office and he's all...
Yeah, she kind of has a cool moment because that bitch is all like, does Bob know you here? But then like Sarah Risher comes up. She's like, Heather, come right this way. Bob's waiting for you.
Heather, Bob's here. Heather, come in, Heather.
So she goes in to see
Do you
Bob.
want coffee, Heather?
And
Black?
Bob's all talking about, talking
God.
shop, talking about like, when you get to Italy, you got to try this shit
yeah,
that
he's
I
on
love.
the phone. He's always on a call. Talking about Italy.
He's always on call talking about Italy.
But yeah, he basically wants to know, hey, Heather, it's Bob, and don't you know who I am? I'm in my own movie. And I want you to be in another movie because I think it's the ultimate to have Nancy bring Freddy back. And
And she's like, but Bob, I'm a mother.
yeah, we find out again that Heather Langenkamp is a mom. And she's like, so I can't because I'm momming. And Bob's like, well, Wes has been busy writing the script and, he's been having nightmares. And she's like, oh, yeah, because that's when he writes his movies is when he has nightmares.
She's like, he's having nightmares again?
oh, no, in 10 years he hadn't had a nightmare?
But he's been making all these great movies like Serpent in the Rainbow and the
Age
People
of
Under the
Innocence.
Stairs. The Age of Innocence. Wait, that was Martin Scorsese.
Let's keep naming off other ones.
She's like,
Terminator?
Amadeus.
Wait, I'm trying to make sure that it's not before 1994 when I'm thinking of this.
Dances with Wolves. We're just cracking ourselves up.
Okay, sorry guys. No, he didn't make any of this latter.
But that's
What's
funny
her
that
name?
they say that because I'm
Yeah.
like, well, he's made lots of great horror movies in this last 10 years
Yeah.
in between. But I get what they're saying. He hasn't had nightmares for a Nightmare on Elm Street
Yes,
movie.
yeah.
Granted, he did
That was fun.
write the first draft for a Nightmare on Elm Street 3, but then, there were many drafts after that.
Yeah.
But he kind of came up with the original concept, I think, of the Dream Warriors, but it was
Yes.
a lot darker of a story, I believe.
I wonder what Wes thought about Dream Child and all that.
Oh,
like,
who
just,
knows? I wonder if he ever saw him.
Yeah, true. Okay, well, let's get back into it. So, Bob is sharing that information, like, hey, so Wes would really like for you to be a part of it. I really want you to be a part of it. Chase is making the glove right now, and
She's like,
that's
"What?"
like news to her. Imagine that there's just like an owl that comes dropping off a fucking Harry Potter letter for you to tell you that like your husband's
been lying to you.
lying
He's not
to
making
you.
soap. But then later it does show them like doing like soap suds when like he gets called away. So I'm like, okay, I guess he really did do a soap commercial, but he was also tinkering with his glove with Chuck and Terry. Tinkering. But they start getting really uneasy, Bob and Heather, when they're talking to each other because they are talking about Wes having nightmares. And
Yes.
she asked Bob, like, are you getting phone calls? And he doesn't want to answer that question. And his
And
phone
there's-
starts
yeah.
ringing. And he
And-
doesn't want to answer it.
Almost like makes you think that like they experienced something like this in the first one. or that,
or that
like,
he's
the-
going through what Heather's going
Yeah.
through also, like
that they are both having an experience, and that Freddy is calling, and we'll find out that Freddy might be also hanging out, or not hanging out, but like getting into the head space of Robert Englund as well. So people are affected.
So I guess she kind of leaves with it up in the air of whether she's going to do it or not.
Yeah,
And she
gets
goes
home.
home, and she, from outside, can hear Dylan screaming
He
bloody
is
murder.
just thrashing
So,
around.
in her heels and her hosiery, she goes running inside.
Titty tassels on, and they're just spinning.
And she runs into that house, and Julie's like, he is flipping the fuck out. I don't know why.
Yeah, and he's like kind of asleep, but saying things like, never sleep again.
And then he starts crying. Like, he's just having a moment.
Yeah.
And now Rex is tore up, right?
And Heather finds Rex, and he's got these slash marks that look a lot similar to the marks that Freddy leaves.
The 4 slash marks of the apocalypse.
Strikingly similar in their appearance.
And so this
And
gives...
poor Rex is a mess. He
Poor
is going to
Rex.
have to immediately go under long surgeries in order to repair himself.
And it's
Julie.
and Julie's gonna attempt this life-saving
Yes.
surgery herself.
Herself, she's a jack of all
And
trades.
so,
babysitter and
Heather soothes poor little baby Dylan.
because he's upset.
She's like, nothing's gonna happen. Daddy's coming home. I'm calling him right now and telling him to get home.
Yeah, because he had like a pretty huge episode. Like, he didn't just say like never sleep again. He was all acting like crazy and thrashing around.
So she calls Chase. She's like, Chase, you gotta get home right now.
Like, you've got to come home like 5 seconds ago. You
Wait.
should have already been here.
And you said you haven't seen Chuck and Terry all day. Why haven't you? They were supposed to be there. Where are Chuck and Terry? And she's
I
like,
need to know where he is.
She's
And
like-
where is they?
remember, I saw them die in my dream. So if they're not there, they're dead.
That has to be it. And Freddy killed them.
It's all Mr. Krueger.
Mr. Krueger. If you don't know Freddy, you have to call him Mr. Krueger.
Be polite.
Okay, so Chase is like, okay, I guess I'll start heading that way. I'll be there in like 3 hours, and I'm really tired. It's the end of the day. Just kind of hinting to like he's probably gonna get real sleepy in a little
He's
bit.
like, I'm coming home. It's your fault if I die.
Yeah, and he makes his way home, and unfortunately,
He
he
dies.
falls asleep at the wheel, and we see the Freddy glove come out from the seat cushion
And it, like,
of the truck.
Taps his little crotch.
Little crotchy area.
His like
and,
basket. as you
opens
would
it
call
up and just kind of shaves down that shaft.
He's like man spreading. So
Yeah.
Freddy's hand comes out of the seat and is like grabs his basket, and then like tip taps it,
just tink
and
tink.
then shaves his groin.
We see he has a Prince Albert.
He leaves a little lightning bolt. Shaved and
This
just
is another Harry Potter.
He's got a lightning bolt pubes now.
Oh god.
No, and then he kills him.
Yeah, he just like puts all of his claws into his chest and then drags him down, gives him big slash marks.
While
His
Chase was singing
silicone comes out of his
REM.
breasts, and
silicone breast.
yeah, that's what
Wow.
Chase had a boob
He
job.
had another secret. from Heather.
And then we have Heather, who wakes up from a nightmare of kind of seeing this play out in her head, maybe, and
And it's almost like a jump scare too.
Yeah.
Because she's reacting to Chase running off the road and being killed by Freddy. And then there's a knock at the door. And she goes to the door. And guess who's at the door?
a police officer is at the door.
It's the Popo. There's a couple police.
And it's sad as they inform her that he has
daddy dead.
expired. He is no longer alive.
They're like, sorry, your
No,
husband fell
They
asleep.
don't
and-
actually. She has to ask them that.
like,
It's
"Is
really
Dad?"
weird. She has to she has to ask.
You can
like,
tell these
"Is he
cops are
dead?"
newbies
Like,
and don't want to break
they've
the bad
never
news.
told somebody the tragic news,
I mean,
and
it has to be hard.
it must be.
Must.
But so yeah, I feel bad for her because they're trying to be like, do you get the point of us showing up? Like, but she doesn't. So
Do you
she's
get
like,
it?
is he okay? Like,
And they're like,
no,
"Girl,
bitch. Like,
there's-
we're showing up
there's
at your house.
3 of us at
so
your door.
It's way more worse.
3
than
cops,
that.
Heather, don't come to your door to tell you your husband's okay. And that's what
Actually, that's like just what one cop does. When they send 3 cops, it's supposed to be like a clear message.
You're supposed to just open the door. No, like
You should actually be on the ground already crying, balled up.
because you shouldn't lay that responsibility on us.
We're here. All 3 of us showed up, and it should just be enough that we're here on your doorstep. It's also really late at night. Like, just please piece it together, ma'am.
Just go to bed. Go to sleep. Go sleep.
And
Heather.
she's just
Sleep it
like,
off.
"Hi, what are you doing here? Is this about my husband?
Is he okay?
Is he okay?
What's happening?" And they're
Is he dead?
no, he dead. He's dead, girl.
Goodness.
He dead.
Just like a weird, like, fishing,
But
like,
she wants to
scene.
go to the morgue. She was like, I want to see what he
Yeah.
looks like. I want to make sure this looks just like a car crash victim.
And they're like, okay, like, we wouldn't recommend it, but, like, okay,
If you
if you want to
must.
confirm. She's like, yeah, I want to confirm. You're telling me my husband's dead.
So
And-
she goes up there and sees Kenny the cameraman at his first job as a morgue attendant.
Yes, pre-scream.
Yeah,
Aw.
Earl Brown makes a little cameo, and it's really awesome. And I always think that now, like, no, that's Kenny, and this is his pre-cameraman job.
This is where he was before.
He should have stayed at this job.
Yes, if only he knew what would
job
happen in
he's
the
gonna
next
take with
one.
Gail
Yeah.
Weathers is
But yeah, so he is the morgue attendant, and he is like the whole time like, I don't know. I mean, if you want to see him, and then he like shows his head to her, and she's like, I want to see his whole body. He's
and
like,
he tries
"We
to be
don't do
compassionate.
that."
Yeah, you can tell he's trying. Like,
we don't do it because of what you're about to see, and it's like, you know, his intestines are out, and
And she just pulls the drape back,
yeah,
and
she's
he's all cut up, and like Freddy cut up. too.
yeah, and like she's like, oh my god, shit! I never knew he was circumcised.
I only did him in the dark.
Like what?
It's a religious thing.
We'll talk about it more when we talk about her nightgown that she wears to bed. Because there's no fucking way that anything has happened when you're wearing that to bed.
She's wearing like a big old granny flannel nightgown,
like
kind of like
from
what I wear. at
1920,
night.
like getting up, having to walk down the stairs with your lit
She needs
candle,
her little like lace bonnet on that they
kerchief,
wear
and
at
like
night.
her nightcap,
Her little
and
candle.
she's still taking medicine by the actual spoonful. It's like,
You don't do that anymore?
well, I take it in the little cup that they give you.
Oh.
You know, it's like she's like old time lady.
She's old time
Just a
lady.
spoonful of sugar helping the medicine go down. Anyway, so Heather is got a dead husband on her hands and a funeral to plan.
And now she's seen it and she's like, oh, this is for realsies.
Yes, like these slash marks totally confirm to me, confirm and affirm and reaffirm. It's affirmative. This is a Freddy. This is a Freddy. Roger that.
This is
it's a Freddy.
This is a Freddy hand job
we
right
have a
here.
Freddy hand job.
This is a Fred
Let
job.
me see your hand job right now.
A Fred job.
So John Saxon.
You weren't
shows...
gonna remark to Fred job?
No, I wasn't.
You're like, I was just gonna skip it.
So there's a funeral that happens, and we see like John Saxon and Wes Craven and Bob Shea, like all these people come back to, like, I guess bury
Yeah.
this man, this sweet Chase man who just was
a
falling
victim
asleep at the
of
wheel.
Freddy.
And
This is a really great scene, by the
Yeah.
way, because she kind of has a moment where she falls asleep, and all of a sudden her husband, the casket opens, and her husband's talking to her, and he's like, come here, come see me, you know.
it's creepy.
And the little boy runs to the casket, right, Dylan? And
She sees him in there, and he's like, the casket like looks like it does like have a weird tunnel, and like her husband's
Freddy
eyeballs
yeah.
are all bleeding.
Well,
It's
Fred,
weird.
yeah, that's what it is. She falls asleep and she looks over, and Freddy is in the casket pulling her son in.
Yes.
And so she jumps up and runs in. Then that's when Chase wakes up and it's like, "Stay with me forever, Heather." It's really
Stay with
creepy.
me.
And she has to crawl down. It's like, yeah, it becomes like a tunnel. And I love
casket
how it's
tunnel.
I love how it's aligned like a
Mhm.
casket. And she has to crawl down there and grab Dylan and pull him out.
Baby Dylan, she's like, get over here, and he is being pulled down. We still don't see the Freddy well, we see like he's doesn't have.
We see him when he pulls Dylan down,
Yeah.
but when she's down there, you never really see his face.
Yeah, and like, but we see like his hand. You can see he's
Uh-huh.
manifested. Like, it's not just a claw anymore. Is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to like say. It's more than just the Freddy claw. Now we have like a Freddy, and he likes to wear leather pants.
Yeah, he's like
And-
zaddy Freddy. He's wearing leather pants. He's all like
Really like
in a
ripped.
tight
Yeah.
leather or a tight sweater and all ripped, and he wears like
a fedora,
a pea coat.
and it's a lot. It's like they were. I mean, it was a definite look they were going for, but he looks like a.
Wes was like, you know what I want to see? A Freddy you can fuck.
I was just about to say he looks like he was about to go like, I'm getting on all the dating apps, you know, like this is my look.
It's
I'm
my
going
new
on my
look.
first date. I can't wait to show off my leather pants. They help me when I'm fighting.
They really boost
all
my
of
confidence, and they show off my junk really nice.
For sure. That he's very well snatched in the areas. Okay, so we get. Okay, so she gets like pulled. She's trying to get Dylan. She pulls him out, and then oh my gosh, the ground's all shaking. We have like another earthquake, and then John Saxon's like helping her up, and she comes to, and it's still the funeral, and people are like, "Girl, you are going crazy."
You're going crazy. Go
And
get help.
it is. It's the earthquake, and she's like, no, it's not the earthquake. I know, it's really Freddy. And John Saxon's like, no, sweet, no,
Girl, it's the earthquake.
girl,
You
it's-
fell and hit your head.
Yeah, that's
on,
what it is.
on the pole over
Don't
here.
worry. And so she,
We
that night she can't fall asleep, and she's talking to Dylan, and Dylan kind of starts talking about like the
God
bad man and having to, can
Oh.
the bad man come into this real world, and
Can you go into my dreams?
Yeah.
And she's like, this is all just stuff in movies.
yeah,
baby."
and he does like talk about like why does God take good people, and
Do you have to be dead to
Yeah.
see God? And
how can you get to him? And then we have this next scene where she meets John Saxon at the playground, and Dylan is playing, and he's been. I know that in my younger years we had a playground in our area
yeah,
that had the rocket ship,
I
ladder
remember that part.
climbing, slide. So when I see this scene, I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally had that. But I do not remember the little like door that
No,
like
that might have
leads
been
to,
made. That might have been
yeah.
made for the movie. But Dylan crawls up while John and Heather are talking, and she's telling him about the night before and the questions that Dylan was asking, and John's telling her this is all normal. Kids know when their parents are distressed, and he's just acting out.
Yeah, and he just lost his dad, so it's totally normal to even be asking questions like that about death and about
then
like God. And
We start getting the doo doo boom 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 doo doo boom 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 doo
bum, 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 bum.
and Dylan's crawling out of that little hole, and he's to the tip top of the rocket ship, standing there trying to reach up to the heavens.
And there is this crazy like
Boom, boom. The music really intensifies.
It's a lot. You
And
should
it's
be
amazing.
there. And Dylan decides to take
Fall.
yeah. I think he like loses his balance.
Yeah, he
and
loses his
so
balance.
She luckily gets there
In time.
like just in time to break his fall, and they both end up on the ground, and she's all like, oh my god, baby angel, what is happening to you, you're broken.
And so that night, she's asleep and wakes up to a sound downstairs, right? Isn't this when Dylan has his knife fingers?
Yeah, she calls Robert and has like a conversation
Oh,
with
okay.
Robert England about like, hey, are you having any weird things
That's
going
right.
on?
He's
And like,
painting at the
yeah,
time.
he's painting in his room, but we don't see what he's painting for a while. But Robert, he's telling Heather like, yeah, I've been having, I don't know, just some weird vibe things going on myself, and I know that Wes is working on the script, and then we see that the painting he's working on is this really weird, distorted, like, Freddy.
Yeah,
Painting.
very avant-garde
Yeah.
Freddy painting. But the new Freddy that she's been speaking about,
Yes.
With the leather pants.
with
the
set
darker
leather
look.
pants. Yeah. He's a fiercer Freddy.
We're here for it.
I dig it. Okay, so she does get a clue from him in regards to like how maybe connected Wes is to what's happening, because Robert mentions at the funeral seeing Wes and asking him like, so how's the script going, and him saying, or like, where are you at, and he says something about, yeah, I'm close to being done, I'm as close as Dylan is to God.
And she's like,
And
holy shit.
what? Dylan just tried to stand on top of the rocket ship slide to get to God.
Yeah, so she hops in her car and she goes to Wes's house.
I am so gonna figure the fuck out. I'm gonna figure this fucker out.
And she's given a wonderful cup of coffee by Wes's maid. when she arrives. It's always a funny detail to me for some reason.
It's
like,
really piping hot, by the way.
she has to blow on it a couple
Yeah.
times. She cools it off.
Well, hold on. Right before she goes to Wes's, though, like, she finds all this information out about Wes, and then Dylan has his episode with, like, the claws and stuff, and she takes him to the hospital, because remember, we have a judgment about Heather leaving her son at the hospital to go see Wes. So
yeah, Dylan has a moment where he he tapes like steak knives to his fingers.
And he's all, never sleep again.
And he tries to attack his mom, but he spells out all the letters that the mom had been saving from the stalker, and it spells out, answer your phone.
And then the phone starts ringing.
And the phone starts ringing, and she answers it, and it's Freddy's voice saying, he's been touched. And then we get the classic tongue from the phone into her mouth from part one.
Another just direct reference to the OG.
And she's like, shit, I'm taking my kid to the hospital.
He's got to go now.
And then she's like, and I'm just going to leave him there.
Well, and he was like convulsing and like spitting up and everything. So like there was a reason she thought he might have a seizure. Julie, Julie's going to show up at the hospital soon, guys.
She's a very dedicated babysitter.
Yeah. So she gets to the hospital. She gets him the care that is needed. He's got to stay overnight for some tests. And so she is like, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to leave.
She's like, bye, honey.
Maybe some parents would choose to stay overnight with their child, but
we'll just go with it wasn't the policy of the hospital.
Yes,
we'll give Heather the benefit of the doubt.
Maybe it was just not in the best interest of the child to have their parent there overnight. So she goes and throws like this big hissy fit in her car.
Oh, she does. She tries to get her seatbelt on. She cannot get it on. And then she's like, has this like pouty baby moment. It's like, Heather, I expect you're a tough final girl. You do not get mad at your seatbelt.
Like, and then she just doesn't put the seatbelt on.
Then she's like suicidal.
Direct, like, okay, know that your son could be without any parents.
Yeah,
bitch. Okay, so Heather goes to see Wes, and he sits her down with that hot cup of coffee and tells her that he has been writing a script because he believes that Freddy is this real old entity of sorts of evil that finds something to inhabit for a period of time, but once that goes dormant, it needs something else, and now it's on the loose, and so he's trying to wrangle it in by writing another script.
Yeah, basically Freddy is the evil that's always existed in time.
And feeds on the souls of innocents.
Yeah, and it's always been contained in the stories that have been passed down through time, and then now in our generation in time, it's movies, and now that they stopped making these Freddy movies, Freddy's become restless and is trying to break into our real world since no one's making the movies anymore. So here comes Captain West to save the day. He's going to make a new movie.
I will say, though, while this information is being given, and though I love to see Wes on the screen, I really wanted him to take a really big drink of water.
Yeah, he's a little smacky when he talks. We're like, Wes, you were really thirsty when you made this movie. You should have said, cut, I need a drink.
Like, it was NPR.
Oh, God.
Range, like...
Yes, I know what you mean.
Mouth smacky, like...
Sometimes it'll be the most interesting conversation on NPR, but I can't take it because whoever is on the show is... when they're talking, and it just gets to my soul, so I
Yeah,
have
there's
to
just-
change it. And that's kind of Wes in this scene. He's just like, Heather.
There's nothing
Like,
worse
it's like, sir, please.
than when you're just trying to listen to somebody, but all you hear is the popping sound of like their tongue and teeth.
Anyways,
and
we're
then
going on
salivatory
on
glands.
a tangent on our hero, Wes Craven's saliva glands.
Well, anyways, Wes would understand.
We love you, Wes.
Yeah,
Just
so-
wish you would have had a drink
we
of water.
just, yeah, it's just, in retro, we're just, okay. Just sloshed around a little H2O just for a second.
And then we go, as the scene ends, we get a glance of Wes's computer, and it's the last sentences of the screenplay that he's writing. And it's exactly the dialogue
Yeah, it's
back
verbatim.
and forth, verbatim of what their conversation just was.
Which is creepy in a way,
Yes.
making me think that Wes has superpowers.
Yeah,
of
he's
sorts.
like this mastermind that's kind of like a puppet master
Yes.
controlling the situation.
And he is...
Heather's probably like, just, Wes, give me a happy ending.
Yeah, and he leaves her with this, like, final note of, like, when it all starts to happen, you will have to make a decision on if you will play Nancy again.
Yeah.
And you'll know when it is. It was a brilliant moment because then it's, so just a foreshadowing to what will happen when we will all see it, the moment when she must choose.
She must.
And she must take her hero's journey.
Here she goes.
Okay, so
Joseph Campbell would be proud.
she gets home, right? Yeah, Heather goes home to watch TV and do research with all of her medical books on
She
child
must
schizophrenia.
Yeah, like she must have hit up the library. 'Cause
She's
highlighting and
an
reading.
encyclopedia. She's got Grey's Anatomy sitting there. She's got some like peer-reviewed medical review journal on psychology. She's got it there. I mean, she's a student.
She's
Remember,
prepared.
she was a grad student in 3.
Yes, that's true.
Maybe a little
Like
imitation
through
of art,
osmosis or
through-
something, she
yeah.
like read that screenplay where she
and
had
then
her
was
master's
basically
and then
a
became.
doctor. Yeah, basically. So she is reading about childhood schizophrenia because we have this like Dr. Hefner
She's
at
not
the
very
hospital
nice.
who has the worst bedside manner / reactionary.
She's
like,
definitely a fascist. Like it's kind of how she's played. Like, this is my hospital. We're going by my rules. I can have you arrested. Like,
Yeah.
basically, she's like, yeah, it's really militant how she conducts her hospital ward.
and she really jumps to like a huge diagnosis. I'm like, sorry, but like if she okay, so she's a doctor. Got it. You went to like doctor school. Woohoo. But then there's like other doctors, specialty doctors.
Yeah.
And she's over there being like, he's got like childhood schizophrenia. I'm like, I don't even think that's in your wheelhouse, okay? Like, I don't think that you, general practitioner or like ER doctor, whatever you are, I don't think you're over there. Like, I don't think that's the thing that you do.
Yeah, that's not your area of
So,
expertise, ma'am.
She's like a mega judgmental, power hungry, like overbearing loudmouth bitch. I don't like it.
Well, then there's a rumble, right? Is this where the earthquake happens?
Well, she's at her house doing her lookup because she's trying to figure out if this doctor has any, I don't know, it really like, does her son really have childhood
Yeah.
schizophrenia? And she starts to have maybe a dream or not, like the TV's turning on. She finds out that Chuck and Terry are dead.
Yeah.
And then the ground is shaking, and she does get the claw marks on her arm. But again, we don't know. Is she dreaming? Is she not? Now there's this blurred line of like what's reality and what's in dreams. And is Freddy
Is this
able to transcend now?
Is this the really good moment, jump scare, where he comes out of the closet and cuts her arm and says like, "Miss me"?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's a really intense moment. She's sitting there, the coffee pot falls off during the earthquake.
This
and
is when we really see those leather pants at work.
And it's a really great jump scare, and it's also the first time they're face to face in years.
Yes.
Freddie and she saw him at the funeral, but
Right.
this is the first time they're really kind of one-on-one in a space together alone, and he just says, like, miss me, and comes out of the closet and attacks her, and they fight around the room.
She's like, yes, I did. And then they have like tea, and they kind of have like a moment where they just talk about the last 10 years and what it's meant to each of them.
And how this whole wild journey has
Yeah.
just really done a lot for who they are as people.
And then so she's having this like moment of being all riled up with Zaddy Freddy. He's and then she rushes to the hospital. She thinks he disappears too, like she's got his rumble on, and then he's gone. And then she goes to the hospital, and her arm's all cut up, and she's like, Dylan, oh no! And her arm's all injured. We got the doctor who's really overbearing, and then she's staying there, and he's in some like oxygen like tent, and he pukes all over her.
Oh my god, it's like
and,
Exorcist style too.
And then the doctor at one point also becomes Freddy, and they have that cool moment where like the doctor has the Freddy claw hand,
she
and it's
says
like, we're gonna open up this
and take out
all
things I
the
don't like.
evil. Yeah, we're gonna get this evil out.
Get this evil out. And then as she's doing, she says something too, like, I'm gonna get all that stuff I don't like, or something. Like, she says something funny. But then, yeah, of course, she wakes up, and everyone's like, Heather, you're crazy. The cops get involved.
Yeah.
Now the cops are there.
Julie
sitting
ends
Heather
up showing
down.
up.
Julie shows up. They're like, no, Julie's going to be down there with your son. Your son is fine. We're doing more tests. You had fallen asleep. We didn't want to wake you because you're a crazy bitch.
And you needed rest, it seems, too.
So we were doing you a solid, not waking you up. He's fine. She's like, I need my son. You don't understand.
And now she has this, like, streak in her hair that is all gray.
And it's a la what happened to Nancy.
Uh-huh.
So she's becoming Nancy.
She is, again, another sign of her becoming Nancy. This keeps happening to her.
Oh my god.
And so she is just, she's looking for her son, and then we have, and she has told Julie, like, don't you dare let them give him anything to sleep.
Make him sleep.
You know, can't
Freddy
have
will
that
get him.
stuff. Freddy will get him. And so Julie is listening. She's not going to let them, but then these two nurses walk in, and one of them's, like, distracting Julie, making her think that, like, they're the one preparing a vial of a sedative.
Are sneaky.
But really, it's the other nurse, and so there's just this, like, fake out.
Oh, and they're smug about it. She, like, smiles at her.
It's
and,
Wes
like,
Craven's daughter,
yeah,
too.
playing one of the nurses, and they jab Dylan and make him go to sleep. And that's a bad idea because it brings Freddy out.
Yep.
Which is strange because it's able to kill, because he is becoming more into reality, that he goes after Julie and not Dylan, even though I guess it's Dylan's dream that would have kind of pulled him out, right?
Yeah.
But the lines are being so blurred with reality,
And she can't see Freddy, so she has, again, we get another homage to the original, and we have a scene where a body is being dragged up onto the ceiling. Julie's being attacked by Fedora Freddy. He has this green fedora, and I swear to God, he has green eye makeup on. It is, like, insane. He's living his best Sasha Fierce life.
He is.
As this
You go,
Freddy.
Freddy. You go.
And so he's like gutting her like a fish up there on the ceiling.
It's a
and
really cool
Dylan's
scene.
reaching for her, and he's all sad. Miko has a way of playing a really sad, pitiful pout face.
Yeah, and he's like crying. I'm like, what did they do to this poor kid?
But I mean, like, even remembering back to, like, he would have Pet Cemetery before this.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
he
yeah.
was
He was
smaller.
like 2
and
or something.
but like he was even like wah, like in that, like they just had a way of being able to get that kid
Yeah.
get that kid sad.
And I think he was actually, he's shorter in stature, especially as a little kid. And I think
He might have been a little older than 5.
I think he was a little older than 5. One way he's really able to give a great performance is, he was a little older.
Yeah.
And I think
he
he's
would've
playing
done
younger.
Kindergarten Cop too.
Yeah, he'd already done Kindergarten
Yeah.
Cop. He's doing Full House.
Yeah, so he for sure must have been like
Yeah.
7 or something, playing like a 5-year-old.
I think that's what it was.
Okay, so, but no, he does do a really great job. It's very convincing, and I feel terrible for him. He's watching his babysitter just be butchered up on the ceiling.
And it's like it's almost like Freddy breaks her back or something. He pulls her head back towards the ceiling, and you just hear these bone break sounds, and it's
sad.
pretty brutal.
she's dead, and then she falls to the floor.
It's like she was ride or die for that family, and she ended up dying
Yeah.
on that ride.
And he had just been paralyzed with fear, and then she's dead there on the floor. Freddy's disappeared,
And he screams for Rex.
Rex! And so he runs off. He's like, you know what? Fuck all y'all.
I gotta go get my
I'm gonna
Rex.
go get Rex. And previously, in another hospital scene, Heather had told Dylan, our house is really close to the hospital.
We're just
It's
right over the highway,
over
baby.
the freeway. So you just, look over there and then see there's our house, which that ended up not really. That info is being played out not the way she intended it to be.
Yeah, she's
These
just trying to
little-
tell him, like, I'm really close. If you
Yeah.
need something, I'll be here super fast.
But no, he just heads home, and she's there at the hospital trying to get to him. He doesn't know that because he's been separated from her.
And no one can find him, so she kind of puts it together like, oh shit, I bet he's trying to cross the highway.
Oh my God. So she gets into her car, gets on her car phone, and calls John Saxon. I mean, Daddy, come to the rescue.
Rescue me.
So he does. He gets to the house, and there's, in between that, there's a really good freeway scene where Freddy comes out of the clouds and scoops up Dylan, and he's like being suspended in the air, flying over traffic.
It's really cool.
And
Semi trucks are like slamming on their emergency brakes and, disrupting the flow of traffic.
yeah, Heather
By
is
causing
also
a
in
big pileup.
the freeway. It's insane.
Yeah, the special effects now are a little dated, but it still looks really cool and it's a lot of fun. Like, it's a really cool scene.
He sees like a whole bunch of Freddys
Like
at
an
one
army
point
of
heading
Freddys.
to him. And then, yeah, we've got the big Freddy that comes out of the clouds and his gigantic claw. So, yeah, maybe they're a little dated, but they're fun.
Yeah, it's awesome.
They're
yeah,
fun.
I love it. And so they finally make it back home. She runs home and she's like, Dylan, where are you? And finds him in the house. No, she doesn't ever find him
John
in the house.
Saxon comes out and is
Yeah.
like, oh, he's here. And he does, like, show up on the staircase.
That's right. And he's
and
like,
stuff.
hi, Mom.
No, he's here. But John Saxon is starting to say things to Heather that make her think that something else is going on. Because he's like, oh, Nancy, it's okay. Everyone's all right. And
Your
she's
mother,
like,
you're like
"What?"
talking about her mother, like, from the movie. Like,
Yeah.
you're just saying strange things. And
Off things.
she starts going with it, like, okay, Dad, I love you too.
And then she turns around. She's outside. She turns around. And the house is now
Nancy's house. The
Nancy's house
iconic-
that we have seen and visited.
Yep, episode.
In
God, I don't
LA.
even know what episode that
Yeah,
was. 40,
was-
50 something.
When we went to Los Angeles and we saw it, it was amazing. And there she is again in front of that iconic house. And she then goes inside to try to find her son. And he is upstairs sleeping in bed, she thinks. And then she finds out he's not in there. But there are these like little pills
Yeah,
that
like
he
sleeping
wants
pills.
her to take to go on this journey.
Because there's
Kinda
been
like-
a theme of Hansel and Gretel going through the movie. Like, she's
Yeah.
been reading that story to him throughout the movie. So here it comes full circle.
the breadcrumbs.
Yeah, the Hansel and Gretel story reading is paying off now.
And we get again like the fun casket scene where the casket seemed to go on forever, the bed seems to go on forever, the sheets, and then she
The
decides,
imagery in this movie is so awesome. Like,
Yes.
Wes knocks it out of the park. It really reminds me of like the first movie, how imaginative they got with like practical effects
Yes.
and things.
a really good mixture too of like practical and some
Mhm.
special effects and then CGI and
Yeah.
so she takes her little journey down the bed sheets that turns into, and then it starts to change into kind of like a shaft of
Ancient sewer
and then
or
a
something.
sewer, yeah, like a weird aqueduct, and then all of a sudden she is flying through the air into this like hellscape pit.
You
where-
almost get the sense like she went down into the bowels of evil, or like where this ancient evil of Freddy
yeah, this
came
demonic
from.
Freddy
Like this
lives.
hell almost.
Yeah. this hellscape.
that exactly, that houses Freddy, or this entity that turned into Freddy.
Yeah. And what's funny is when she dives into it, it looks like just this matte painting of maybe like Dante's Inferno or
and you
something.
see like a bird flying.
Yeah, and it looks reptilian almost.
But this next set piece is really great. Like, the design of it is really dark and dank and scary and ancient. And
Yes. It reminds me of the creepiness of the boiler room from the first movie, but obviously
but like
this
an
is a
ancient
different
boiler room or something. Yeah, the set design is
and it's
amazing.
dilapidated. Almost looks like weird, like Grecian, like the statues in the Pantheon, all that. Like
first civilization.
Yes, like it's a lot to take in. And then once you take it in, then she's got to find her son. And Freddy is on the loose, chasing them around. At one point, Dylan finds a furnace. And again, we're going to get that Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah. Oh, Hansel.
Hansel and Gretel.
You're so fancy.
Thank you. Hansel and Gretel. And he climbs into it, and it's all burnt. I'm sorry, but as if I was a child, I would be scared to.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get
into
pit
the
of
furnace.
fire. Yeah, the furnace. But it's almost like his only place to hide. So Dylan gets in there, and Freddy corners him. You get some really great makeup, special effects right here. You get the arms stretching out to grab Dylan, and he's pulling him close, and he starts to eat Dylan.
Yeah,
his
he
mouth is
unhinges
opening.
his jaw like a snake, and his
Freddy's
tongue's
mouth,
all
it just keeps
wiggling
widening,
around.
and he's starting to put Dylan's head into his mouth. But here comes Heather. She
stabs him.
Yeah, she kind of gets stuck in the stairs first, like she did in part 1.
I love. There's a lot of
homages to the first.
Yeah. Wes is reminding us of his original masterpiece at all the time.
And it's done really well. It's not like slapping you in the face with nostalgia. It's not like member, like a member berry or anything.
Remember that scene? What about this one? Do you remember when they climbed through that?
Do you remember that when you loved that in the first one? It doesn't come
Love
across
it
like that.
again.
They're subtle nods and done well and different enough.
Yes, because she at all times is always super fierce and trying to get her feet out of those steps. And she has her knife and stabs him. And so then all of a sudden Dylan escapes again, and he's hiding further next to this snake, which I'm sure that would have been so much fun as a child.
And then Freddy gets her with his tongue. He's starts binding her up with his tongue.
Well, he gets shoved into the furnace.
Yeah.
She shoves him in there, locks him in there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna wrap you up, girl." And then she cuts his tongue, and now he
Dylan
has
Dylan gets the knife, and it's this funny little roulette scene. Almost reminds me of Alien when they're playing with the knives with his fingers. He's trying to get that tongue, the tongue's flipping around, and finally Miko or Dylan gets the tongue, and it has, in order to escape, it rips through the knife.
Makes it look like a snake tongue.
And so Freddy, after unwinds off Heather, he has a little snake tongue now.
But he's getting all caught up on fire, and we see him kind of the Freddy face melt, and we get this visual of what maybe the demon entity looked like. And then he bursts and explodes, and Dylan and Mom jump into this pool that takes them back to their bed sheets, and they tumble out from the bed sheets, and they're on the floor, and then out pops the script from Wes.
And she reads it. They wrap themselves up in the blankets they just fell out of, and they're dirty, they nasty, they need to go bathe. But first she's like, "Let's read this story, baby."
And he's like, "What's that?"
She's like, "Oh, it's the traumatic experience we just went through. Let me read it to you as a bedtime story."
We'll play this out.
Yeah, let's see how this works.
And he's like, "Mommy, can I have your part?"
And then all of a sudden we get the directed by Wes Craven. So that is Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
And it is his new nightmare, made by him, directed by him,
for us,
written by him, for him, by him.
And for you and me, right?
And for all of us.
He gave it to the world.
He gave it to the world.
We're gonna write that song, guys. But for
For
now,
Wes.
for Wes, we are 8 minutes away from the Circle Cinema. So we're 8 minutes. According
We're
to our
in
GPS.
Tulsa town.
We are in Tulsa town. So we're gonna go just have a Heather of a day. We're gonna come back, tell you about our favorite scenes, give our knife rings. We also have a fun little announcement about a collaboration that we have coming up. That's gonna be like a new part of our show that you will monthly
gosh,
get.
yes.
Yeah, we'll tell you all about it.
You don't
when
want to
you come
miss
back.
this,
Yeah.
but enjoy more Bad Athlete Scream Queens.
And we'll tell you about Tulsa and everything else. Listen to our music, and we'll be back in a few seconds.
Bye.
I may be shaking inside. I'm not the kind to run and hide. Come out, I'll take you all on my own. I've got you figured out. Tough luck, you're in my world now. I have no doubt, I have no fear. I'm gonna make you disappear. We are the Scream Queens running through the night. We are the Scream Queens gonna put up a fight. Make everything alright.
And we're back. And that was Bad Athlete with our new theme song.
Scream Queens.
Running through the night. Yeah, that's us.
Yeah.
We're running and driving through the night and the day,
are.
bringing you some content to listen to, babies.
It's currently day.
Yeah,
I will say
it's
it is
currently
currently
day.
day.
And I'm-
I'll say we slayed yesterday.
And I'm sorry for just calling you babies just now. I apologize.
Did you call just me baby?
No,
or
I called our friends listening.
all of them babies?
Babies.
Oh, they are our sweet little babies.
They're our sweet little babies,
Yeah.
but it just came off really awkward. So
Oh, okay. Well,
I
it's
apologize for it.
you. All right. Well, if anybody needs to air their grievance,
You can write us at P.O.
Yes.
Box.
do you have a hellish number to give for a PO box number?
666 Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma.
666.
666. Okay.
So we are heading back to the Oklahoma City area from Tulsa.
Areola.
We're back on the rural highways, not really knowing which one we're on, but we're back on it, heading home.
We just will find our way. We'll find our way back.
We had the best and coldest day yesterday up in Tulsa.
It was so cheery.
When we drove in yesterday, when we were talking to you, there was like already like little patches of snow. It was like
Yes.
flurrying. I wouldn't
It
quite
was
say snowing.
Flurry.
There was flurries.
It was a flurry. I was caught up in a flurry.
Yes. And
I
a tizzy.
flurled it. Yeah,
A
and
flurry
a tizzy.
and a tizzy. If you
Yeah, but we had a blast.
Yeah.
We started off by exiting to see our sweet baby angel.
will. Yeah,
girl.
we first honored Heather Langenkamp, daughter of Tulsa.
T-Town baby.
She's actually described herself that way. One time when we saw her live at the Circle Cinema a few years ago, she said, "I am a daughter of this town."
My
So-
daughter. She said it with an English accent, and that was a little strange because we were like, well, like
Honey.
Heather, you're not British.
Wrong accent.
Yeah. So it's
She was like, "Oh, yeah,
American.
of this town," and we're like, "Wow!" And you went Cockney too.
yes. She full on went like Mary Poppins
You
style.
know, dropped
on it,
all the
like,
consonants.
everything.
You just heard all vowels.
Oi! Oi! We were
But-
like, oh no, she thinks she's in the wrong Tulsa.
We're like, "You're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, not Tulsa, UK." Is there one?
Yeah, there's not one. I
Wales?
don't
Is
think
there
so.
Tulsa and Wales, perhaps? Anyways, get back to our day in
Our
Tulsa,
day in
honoring
T-Town.
Heather Langenkamp. We even posed by her circle because
Yeah,
it
and
is-
I mean we posed
oh, we got our pose. on.
every bit of that word.
There is photographic evidence of this on Instagram.
Yes.
Check us out, Scream Queen Podcast
Bill
at Instagram.
Sherlock, look us up.
Yeah,
See
find
what
us.
we're talking about.
Find us.
We were hella goofy.
So we took pictures there. We also saw the other circles because it is at the Circle Cinema, which is an old Art Deco theater that's been restored. It's actually like a historic was a historic site now.
Circle one more time. Say it.
Circle, cinema, circle.
Cinema circle.
But they don't do stars, they do circles because circle cinema, you know. But we were going to tell you some other circles that were in front of the
Because
cinema.
it's not square cinema.
It's
They
circle.
don't have squares there.
It's not star cinema.
No. Stop being ignorant. You heard what we said.
But Heather's in the company of people such as Bill Hader, Brad Pitt,
Brad Tits, yeah.
Terrence Malick,
Terrence Malick.
Gary Busey.
I believe it's pronounced Gary Busey.
Sterling Harjo, who's really awesome. Love Reservation Dogs
Yes.
on FX.
That's an
If you need a
amazing
great show to watch.
Hop
about-
on and see that.
It's about Justine's people.
It is about my people. Yes.
Not joking. It's true.
No.
And oh,
So
and then we went and visited her high school.
Yes, but we laid our. When you say we visited the circles, like don't you shy away
we
from.
loved it. We cleaned. We cleaned it off.
Cloroxed that.
Cleaned off her circle. Made it all nice and shiny.
Laid our bodies
Across.
layeth them down next to her, looketh upon her with fond eyes.
The fondest.
No, Josh's is so endearing. He's like on his side
With my Freddy sweater.
with his Freddy sweater.
Cardigan sweater.
Super cute, just like all like cheese festing it up. I'm laying there with my lady. It looks a little.
It's very like John Lennon laying in front of like the Imagine
Yes,
circle, you know, that
Yes.
thing. Yeah, it gave me like Beatles vibes, your photo.
thank you.
You're very Yoko.
I was perhaps
You-
my own.
You broke up the Beatles.
Whoops. Well, in my universe, I didn't, and they've stayed together ever since.
But now that we've said it, there's a universe out there where Justine, guys,
Is-
broke up the Beatles.
I'm not
Wow.
Yoko Ono, but I'm Justine.
My
but
mind's blown.
How in the world did I? Because I guess in another universe you could be from any time too. So sure, because we.
Yeah. So, tangent. All right, back on track. So
Okay, yeah.
we did like a full-on photo shoot. We're not
Yeah.
fucking around here.
There's
We-
a lot of
We
photo
laid
effort.
around. We crouched down. We
Might
had our
have-
asses up in the air trying to get the best photo of her
Tried
damn
to do
circle.
that like Kubrick leg spread.
The circle going into your vagine.
Yes, like oh man.
We had a good time in the cold. It was like, 17 degrees outside or
It
something.
was freezing.
Which in Oklahoma, that's cold. I'm sure maybe some of you up
Yeah.
north are like, oh, that's balmy, but
Well, it was frigid,
that was cold to us.
and
We're
I didn't
cold.
like it.
That's our winters here. That's cold to us.
So we hopped in our ride and headed downtown further because we were gonna go see Booker T. Washington High School.
And we walked the halls. We talked to her old teachers and classmates because they're
Uh-huh.
still. No, we didn't.
No, we should have, but it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day today, or I guess it's today. It's
Yeah.
Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
It was a
but they were
Sunday
closed yesterday, and today's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so we can't go in.
But
I wanted to try out for the cheer squad.
they had a really pretty facade. I know that sounds stupid, but it had this ornate carvings in stone up
Yes,
above.
it was very pretty,
Yeah,
like
it was-
a mural.
Yeah, you
and
could tell it was kind of old, been there
Yeah.
a long time, and that they've kept it up, kept it nice.
I even put my cheer uniform on. I really was going for the gold.
Yeah, we acted out the scene from A Nightmare on Elm Street where she's in the high school running around and Freddy jumps out and kind of scares her as the hall monitor.
Yeah, here's your pass.
I was the hall monitor.
You are a hall monitor in
And
life.
Justine always gets to be Heather Langenkamp.
I am always Heather. Always.
She always
in
gets
all
to be
things.
Heather.
Yes.
But so we went and saw her school. It really wasn't far from the Circle Cinema.
I think you prefer playing it used to be the slutty friend, but just now we would refer to this character as
She's empowered.
the empowered
Sexually
friend.
empowered.
Yes.
She
So
knows
you're the
what she
Tina. You want to, tease out all the time.
The Tina, the Tatum.
Yes. If it's got nipples, Josh wants to be that character.
I love a
If
good
it's
nipple
showing
shot.
nipples.
Yeah.
He's just he is.
I'm always giving a good nip slip, so.
Yes. He always, you do wear the most enhancing and like off to like your cutouts for no reason in your t-shirts, Josh.
If you guys know me, which I'm sure you do, you know this is all false.
Whatever.
I keep myself bound
Yes.
and chased.
Wearing that chastity belt with honor and pride.
But so yeah, we had a fun little like morning-ish. We got up there pretty early.
Yeah,
and
and we wanted to because
we wanted to
we
hang out in
needed the
Tulsa.
day. Yeah, it's like 24 hours is a good amount of time.
So we started off honoring Heather Langenkamp, daughter of Tulsa,
Daughter of
Oklahoma.
T-Town.
All in celebration for Wes Craven's New Nightmare, you know. And then we went and had fun. We had some brews. We looked at books, and what
Had
else?
Coffee and drove
Coffee,
around this.
and-
It's called the Blue Dome District, and so we kind of like hung out there for a little bit. Went to the Neff Brewery.
Yes, went to Neff Brewery. We went to a bookshop.
Witty used books.
Witty's
Mhm.
used
We
books.
gotta drop these names,
Damn, yeah,
Josh.
we do.
Don't you
So-
be.
Yeah, support local.
Yeah,
Support
like
local.
if you guys are gonna go to Tulsa, totally recommend that you hit these places up.
Yeah, it was
Triangle
fun.
Coffee, they
Triangle
had
Coffee,
amazing
delicious.
coffee. Oh, the coffee though that we had this morning.
Oh, and Chimera
We had cold brew.
this morning, yeah.
Oh my god, and we had different toasts, but oh man, like I had the avocado toast because I was trying to be a fucking basic ass bitch.
And mine
that's
was
for
called
sure.
the Velvet Nico.
Yes.
It was peanut butter,
looked really good.
bananas, granola, honey.
It reminded me a
kind
little
like an
bit of like an
Elvis.
Elvis, yeah. But I guess maybe not granola. He
I was like,
would've
oh,
been
so it's kind of, did the Velvet Underground and Nico like
Hit
bananas?
it,
Because it was called the Velvet Nico. which
yes.
to me was the blending of Velvet Underground and Nico.
Nico.
So I was like, they like peanut butter. and
They like
stuff.
Nico Pico. It was really
But yeah,
good.
Tulsa's is a really cool, low key, artsy, fun little town with
Mhm.
lots of nice restaurants. We went to the most amazing restaurant last night.
Oh my god, the best steak I've ever had in my entire existence. And guys, I live in Oklahoma.
We're
I
not
have had
exaggerating.
steak.
Yeah, we're not exaggerating at all. It
No.
was the best steak I've ever had in my life.
And we live in Oklahoma City, which has one of the best steakhouses in
Yeah.
like in the where Oklahoma doesn't really think it's a part of any like Midwest or like South or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
we're
like,
kind
it's-
of an identity crisis here in Oklahoma. It's like we're not quite
Regionally.
South, we're not quite Midwest, we're not quite Southwest. We're kind of a combo of it
everything.
all.
We're the heartland of America,
Yeah.
but we do have in Oklahoma some bomb ass steaks.
Yes.
And so we definitely, Josh and I, we've had some really good steaks.
And in Oklahoma City, there's a whole stockyard
Yes.
area, and like there's, they're literally have cows going down the road.
It's- yeah.
So
Picturesque, kind
Yeah,
of like
so
a throwback to
if
our.
you're ever in Tulsa, go to the Bull in the Alley, and the name is exactly what it is. You have to go down
Yes.
this dark little alley,
Find the bull in
find
the
the
alley.
little metal bull above a door, and even the door is kind of flush with
Yes.
the wall, and so you open it up, and then it's almost like a little speakeasy.
I was just about to say
steakhouse.
it like gives you speakeasy vibes, but it's a restaurant. But you make it's like reservation only.
There's probably
I think
like
you can-
3 tables that would fit like 4 or 5, and then
Yeah.
there's like 6 booths along the side,
Mhm.
and then like a big bar in the center. I don't believe
Amazing
you need
drinks.
reservations for the bar. It's
No.
first come, first serve. If they're busy, they're busy. But yeah, definitely get reservations. It's gonna cost you a little bit. It's a little pricey side, but save up.
Yeah.
It's worth it. That's kind of what we did. We were
Yes.
excited for it. We saved our monies. We worked
Mhm.
hard at our jobs to
Hard.
throw down some money on a nice
Beautiful steak dinner. And you know it's going to be a beautiful steak dinner when you're paying for your sides. Okay, guys? It's a nice restaurant when you're just paying for the steak.
And when the fish of the day doesn't have a price, it's market, you
yeah.
fancy.
When you don't ask what the price of things
Yeah.
are,
yeah, when
that's
you know
fancy.
better, like, okay, it's really declassé to ask, like, how much is that fish? So, yeah, no, it was amazing. We both got the filet, the small filet, and it was
Yeah.
like very filling. And
but beautifully
God.
made, buttery.
guys,
Oh
we're
my
not being
goodness.
sponsored by Bull in the
No,
Alley.
but we should. How we're like dressing this
Yeah,
up.
we're probably talking
So
more about
good.
that. Yeah, it was amazing.
Okay. But we had some really good food. We had some really good drinks. We had some really good brews. Tulsa's fun. Hit Tulsa.
Yeah.
All right. But
Stay
we're
a night there if you're driving through, and go to a nice dinner. Go hit up a cafe in the morning. It'll give you a good little first impression of
yeah,
Tulsa.
they have a beautiful downtown area, well-established city life.
Very
so-
Art Deco
Yeah.
downtown. They haven't destroyed a lot of their old Art Deco buildings like Oklahoma City did in the
Mm-hmm.
60s. So, a little history there. Anyways,
Yeah.
let's get to Wes
know.
Craven's New Nightmare.
Here we are. We are in Wes Craven's New Nightmare because it's Wes's. His new nightmare, and
So-
we gotta play a little. Let's clean the house up because,
Okay.
like, first off,
Yes.
guys, because you've probably been screaming at us of like, it was Charles Burnson. Yeah, we know.
we were right.
We were
I was right the
We
first
were just
time.
being weird and
We have
were
a-
second guessing.
We kind of have a history of second guessing
Yeah.
ourselves. Kind of like last episode with the shock, lock, and barrel. You said
Oh,
it
I
right,
did,
and then I
yeah.
kind of knocked it down. I was like, no, I don't think that's right. Because in my head, I'm thinking, Lock, Stock, and Two, Smoking Barrels, the movie. And I'm
Yes.
like, no, it's not like the movie. I don't know. So it's...
And I was thinking pop, lock, and drop, like how I dance move it, but
So, yeah, we need to just go with our gut, girl.
Yes.
We know what we're talking about.
we do, and that's the thing. It's like, oh my god! And we were in the car earlier, guys, and I again said, Milo. I don't know what the hell is wrong with my brain right now, but it's like stopping me from saying his fucking name. I'm having a crisis inside my brain synapses
It's
right
okay.
now.
I'll
Guys.
be there for you,
Yeah.
Justy.
I'm like, Miko,
Through your
Miko,
crisis.
Miko.
But yeah, we love, or at least I do, I'll speak for myself, I love Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And where would
Yeah.
you rank it? Let's just start there. Like,
If
in the
we-
whole Nightmare series.
Oh, in the whole Nightmare. Okay. Well, okay. Shit.
For
'Cause,
me,
like,
Nightmare
I
1
love,
is
oh, for sure,
a
one.
perfect kind of movie.
Yeah.
Except from the end that the producers made them set up a
Reach it,
sequel
yeah.
for. But
But-
that's not Wes's fault.
But, also, we have discussed both of Wes's nightmares.
Yeah.
Like,
He wrote one of the first drafts for 3, but other
that's-
people had
yeah.
their hand in that as well.
but he didn't direct it, and
His idea to bring Nancy back and like kind of like the Dream Warrior vibe. His was
definitely a good idea
Yeah.
to do. Okay, so are we really going to line these
You
up right
you
now?
don't have to line them all
Okay.
up. Just kind of like
Okay,
a vague where would it land? In
I'll
your-
do Heather's, the ones with Heather in them. So 1,
Yeah.
and then obviously then New Nightmare. She just has more time, and she's again like she's more
Yeah.
her hero. I do love 3. I don't know.
3's a lot of
Shit.
fun.
I
kind of go.
can we just put them like 1 and then 2, or like the Nightmare and 3 are just like on the 2
Yeah,
level?
you
What
can
if
do
they
whatever you
haven't?
want, girl.
They're still
I will-
alive. What if they make another one? Like
Maybe
what
they
if?
will. They will put that in here. I'm with you. I go kind of 1 New Nightmare, and then overall it would be kind of a tie between 3 and 4. It used to be just 3, but 4 over the years I've realized how fun it is.
Yeah.
And
Maybe if it's I think it might be the Patricia Arquette aspect of it that I still want to keep putting 3
a
above
little
4.
bit. And 3, I mean, it has the Dream Warriors, but
Yeah.
4, it was the one that made the most money back in the day. I think it was the one that they showed on TV the most.
I mean, we
For a
could
while,
put like
but-
5 at the bottom,
Yeah, 5 and 6.
and then
2
yeah.
would be after 3 and 4. Yeah, anyways.
See, here
Just
we
kinda
go. We're
wanted to
going
see-
on a tangent of.
No, it's not much of a tangent. I think people want to fill us out
Okay.
where
You think so?
the movie ranks.
Yeah?
Because some people take these things personally. Like,
That's
some
true.
people, 3 is the sword they die on. And good
Well,
for
yeah,
them.
no, and I love that for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's going to be a sword that I'm dying on, then it's 1.
At least
for
it's
sure.
a Freddy sword. And anybody
yeah.
that likes any of the Freddy movies is a friend of mine.
Mhm.
So, but this is just our personal ranking. Don't hate us for liking 1 in Wes Craven's New
And
Nightmare.
I love 2.
Best. Yeah,
Funny.
2. Yeah, 2's a lot of fun. Freddy's still really dark in
Mhm.
2. He's still really creepy. They make a lot of weird choices in 2 that can be amusing to watch. It has
Favorite, like with the bird
it has
catching on
our-
fire.
our favorite character Grady.
Oh my God, who doesn't love hot baby Grady?
Love Grady.
We've got our final boy dance scene. Fucking love that. Shades and all.
But there's something just so groundbreaking about Wes Craven's New Nightmare, how he brought it all back, was able to come up with an idea for a sequel after they had already killed Freddy off.
Yeah, this idea of meta.
And him to do meta before
Mhm.
Scream, this was kind of like almost like a broader, not a broader, more idiosyncratic version of Scream. Like, it's a little bit more about the Nightmare on Elm Street universe, maybe not just horror movies in general. you get stuff about the business, you know, with like Chase Porter and the behind the scenes aspect, but it's more about the franchise itself.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't look at this and think like, oh, this is a movie about Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean,
Where
it has
I would,
elements of
yeah,
that. Yeah,
well, yes, but that's not where my head goes when I think like, what is this movie about? I still think it's definitely way more just in the lore of
And
creating Freddy, and then when Freddy's dead, you know, in quotation marks, how does Freddy live on? Well, Wes's idea of, well, it's way more than that. It's deeper than that. It takes it further than that. It's more of a transcendency of this terrible spirit demon. That's pretty
right,
cool.
girl.
I like that. Like that little tush.
Yeah, and I
Do you like that tush?
I like how he brought. I love that tush. But I love how Craven brought him back darker. He still cracks wise, you know. He's not doing it every 2 seconds, just saying.
Yeah.
The wisecracking in this is way more sinister. Like even when he pops out of the closet and says "miss me," there's a lot of like connotation behind that. The history of that that those characters have, and it kind of sets up like, I'm coming for you, you know. I'm back.
Because
and
she
you're
hasn't
alive.
been involved. Like, you think about how Heather's been removed from, you know, that Freddy culture. Like, she didn't make the other, you know, like a lot of the other sequels. So, where Freddy, you know, he's Robert Englund, when they show him and how deep in it, how dark he gets, he's making that painting and stuff, like, he's going on his own spiral out.
You love it when Robert Englund gets deep in it, don't you?
I do. Well, I mean, how deep can he get? How deep can he sink?
You tell me. We can find out maybe on Prime.
Let's see. Well, ask me in May. I'll tell you.
She can seduce Robert Englund.
Please.
No, I'm just
He's,
kidding.
yeah.
Happily
I
married.
mean, and he's zaddy for sure.
We're not
like,
home wreckers.
No, hell no. Okay, where are we going with this?
We're just talking
let's
about the
kind of-
movie.
yeah, like let's just keep going
And
talking about the movie, but let's talk.
And kind of some of the points that we're making, just how Wes Craven can make things scary in broad daylight, like how he doesn't have to rely on, you know, color
Moody
grading
blues
or
and,
the cinematography always being dark or everything's
Yeah.
set at night. And that's kind of a
I love
staple of
that.
Wes Craven. He's not afraid to shoot things in broad daylight or use naturalistic colors and lighting.
I think that's very evident too when you see the remake.
Yeah, we went through it.
A Nightmare on Elm Street, and how it's all that coloring. It's darker. It's
Everything's yellow
Yes,
and black,
black,
or everything's
gray.
like gray and blue and
that
you know,
whole
silver colors.
scene in the pub and the the opening.
Yeah, and a lot of
or
that
diner,
wasn't and along with that, it was a lot of those sequels in the 2000s
Yeah.
and the early teens.
But I mean,
that
even
were
much
not
with,
even sequels, but the remakes. You know,
Yeah.
all those movies, like the Texas Chainsaw, rely so much on the heavy, dark color
Yeah.
grading and cinematography. Whereas, like the original Texas Chainsaw, it's all broad daylight.
Yes.
Almost looks like a documentary, and that's what really makes it scary. And I think Wes Craven gets that.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
the more that it's to life, the more you can relate to it. Like,
The
oh, that's
scarier
what
it's gonna
life
be.
looks like.
Yeah.
The more scarier it's going to be, yeah.
It's like my world isn't this weird gray, blue, like it looks like there was a huge like bomb that just went off.
Yeah,
and
it's like
there's ash in
in
the
my
air
world, the
and-
sky's blue
Yeah.
and the trees are green, you know?
So I don't understand this. Yeah.
So,
But I was just bringing it more to the like, yeah, he made these two nightmares. They are both like in color, and then we have our remake using that idea of like just darker.
and of course,
hues.
we're not saying we're opposed to artistic expression and that like anything that's moody or dark is bad. No, there's
No.
some great things. Like, you know, just top of my head, I'm thinking like The Exorcist. Like, there's
Yeah.
a lot of scenes in
But
the dark,
it's
and dark rooms.
more
and-
intentional
Yeah, it's not
how
just,
you're telling the story.
Yeah, not just, oh, this will help make it scarier.
Yeah.
Everything's dark blue and black and
Yeah.
gray.
It's more trying to create the atmosphere.
And I love that about Wes Craven, and I love the practical effects in here in the old school
Yes.
90s effects, like when Freddy's up in the sky, dipping his hand down. Like, it just looks great. A little cheesy, like we said earlier, but great. I love it. So much fun.
And the nods that are in it, that are in New Nightmare for Elm Street, you know, with the kill of Julie, dragging her up on the wall. They aren't like slap you in your face. This is just, do you see the reference? It's, it's like just a nice little nod or a shake.
And I think, did we mention in the last segment how Miko Hughes still has that
playground?
That playground set at
No,
his house?
we didn't. I have it in my notes for us to to visit.
Yeah. He has a TikTok where he's joking around like, no, I hear there's rumors that everyone says I have that playground. He's like, no, I don't still have that. And then it pulls out and it's all behind him.
I think he started that rumor. Just so he could do that TikTok video.
Yeah, right. But,
oh, that's funny.
yeah, the acting is great, even from, from Miko Hughes and
Yes.
especially Heather and Robert. Everyone's great. And I don't think that seeing Robert, because I've heard other people say, like, having Robert in the movie as himself and then having Freddy makes this Freddy less scary. But he's almost playing a newer entity other than Freddy. That's like
and they had him look
body.
different.
And to me, it makes it scarier that we see him out of costume, out of makeup, and then you see
this Freddy guy,
and it freaks him out in the movie too. Like, he's really uneasy about all this.
Well, I mean, like, he's exaggerated. Like, they have him like strangely bulked up. Even all the scarring and everything it's not. They don't look like the same Freddy, but they do look like the same Freddy because he's still trying. The demon is still trying to hold on to.
He's gonna hold on to it.
Maybe the demon has a crush on Freddy. Like, he has like a sexual
Maybe
attraction to him.
there needs to be a rom-com about like the little demon and Freddy falling in love.
Yeah, and like the demon's just been like on the sidelines, like that girl that just watches like the football team and stuff, and she's like cheering, but it's just practice.
Yeah.
Like, that's been the demon, and
she's really dating Michael Myers in real life, but Michael Myers is really mean to her.
This is getting mean.
And the demon longs for Freddy.
Yeah, and Michael Myers longs for the demon.
And where's Jason fitting in all this?
Well, Jason's
He's their homeroom teacher.
Jason's smoking pot under the bleachers because he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah,
like,
he
he's
just comes out when
waiting
people
for
piss him off.
summertime.
He's like,
Because
I
he
really only
thrives in summer camp.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
There we go. We wrote.
You guys don't steal
Street.
our idea.
Because we think that the demon entity actually has the sexual attraction to Robert Englund, to Freddy. Okay, let's keep going. Let's get into favorite scenes. I'm ready to talk about my favorite scene.
You tell me, girl.
Okay. Well, what's funny is at first I thought that my favorite scene was going to be something else, but I've decided actually I think my favorite scene is like the opening scene with the hand and it coming to life, and seeing like that kill scene with Chuck and Terry, because it's scary, and the sounds of them being punctured and all that is just frightening. Miko does, or Dylan, he sells being so scared, but then that slight changeover where you see it go from like, is this reality, to it's a dream, or like Heather's gonna wake up and it's gonna be something. I like all of that, and it builds. It's immediately telling you what's happening. Like, this is Heather Langenkamp. This is Hollywood world. All that.
Yeah, and I love too how it starts and tricks you into thinking like, oh, this is kind of a remake of the original opening. Like, oh, we're seeing Freddy make a claw. Ooh, and it's a robot claw.
There's no credits too.
And it doesn't let up until after he cuts his hand off, and you hear Wes scream "cut," and then it pulls back. You're like, oh, I'm watching the making of a Freddy movie.
A Freddy hand.
But one thing we got to bring up is how we forgot to mention is the name of Chase's FX team.
Oh.
Isn't it something funny, like On the Chase, or like it has like a really punny name to it?
Damn.
Yeah,
I didn't write it down.
Like, oh shit, it has a really funny name. I think that might be it, like On the Chase, or like.
Oh, because his name is Chase?
No, it's Cut to the Chase.
Yeah, because his name's Chase.
Yes, because his name's Chase. Cut to the Chase.
Cut to the Chase.
Yeah. I always thought that was kind of funny.
Hilarious. Yes. But in that opening scene also, like, there are no credits. It just goes directly into the movie, and then also just like you jump into that world. So you're thinking that you're in a scary movie world, but then you realize, oh, I'm in the making of a scary movie. And this guy Heather Langenkamp in it. And oh shit, she's sleeping.
That's right.
Holy shit, I get what this is all about. Okay, I'm good. I think that's just a really good opening. That's me. That's my fave scene.
It's a really good opening. I'm going to go with the scene in the cemetery where she sees Dylan being dragged underneath by Freddy.
Mm-hmm.
She jumps in the casket. Chase kind of slumps over, wakes up, and is like, come with me, stay, basically saying, like, die with
bleeding.
me.
Mm-hmm.
His eyes are bleeding. She's trying to go down that, like, tunnel of the casket. It's all...
Yeah, that tunnel of love.
That tunnel of love. This is the... I don't know, what would this tunnel go to?
It's
The
a
tunnel of hell?
casket tunnel to, like, his world.
Yeah, netherworld tunnel.
Because then she ends up going down it with
Yeah,
them
she's got to, like,
sheets.
crawl down there, and she's got to grab Dylan from Freddy, and, Freddy's arms extending. Like, it's just a really great nightmare scene.
Yeah, it's a high tension scene
Yeah.
too, and we again get falsed out. We don't really know. It's because the worlds are bleeding together, and Freddy, just like in the original, she's trying to bring Freddy out. In this one, it's the reverse. He's trying to take her into the dream world.
Yeah,
So,
to me, it has the most kind of nightmare imagery of the whole movie. Even though, like, you could say the end where there's, like, Freddy in the sky and the army of Freddys marching over, to the highway and stuff.
That's
Another thing that
scary.
I think we didn't mention
I
that
like
well
that.
in the first part is all the ominous little scenes where they're watching, where Dylan's watching the original Nightmare, but you see the TV's unplugged, or, she's
Yes.
finding him watching her as Nancy.
As Nancy,
And then
yeah.
every time you see that it's unplugged, and the entities are interfering and making Dylan, come down there and see
Yes.
this. And,
in the real world, he's watching these, and the entities are the ones.
yeah,
that
it's
are
like
doing
somebody's
it.
setting it up and
Yeah.
making him see, even when the TV's unplugged.
All of those little touches too, like the stalker calling, the sounding like Freddy and singing. The idea that, like, it probably wasn't somebody just out there who just has an obsession with her. It's always been this Freddy entity
Yeah.
trying to get her to. I guess, the more she gets scared, the more she makes him real, the easier it's going to be for him to get her into his world.
Yes.
Take her out.
He better not take her out, because I love Nancy and Heather Langenkamp, and this has been such a fun trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I have, like, an Atomic Pop. I think that's the creator of the shirt that it's the Together Forever
Together
with
Forever.
Freddy and
Yes.
Nancy, and so
Look it up online. Atomic Pop. They have really great horror shirts. Bright, beautiful colors. Really kind of like pop culture-ish. They have all kinds of things, but they have a really great, and I'm sure they still have it. It's a popular design. What you just said, it's Together Forever, and it's
Yeah.
that kind of iconic image of Freddy embracing Heather from behind.
and
Holding
he's always
her-
trying to make
yeah.
out with her.
And she's kind of looking up at him scared. It was like an old promo pic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that shirt, but I think that's also why I get those vibes. It's Freddy and Nancy.
Yeah.
It's Heather and Robert.
Well, and Nancy's one of the best final girls
She
ever.
is.
She's one of the most proactive. She sets up booby traps.
it's fucking terrible that she
she's
was
a-
ever killed off.
She's a fierce mom in this one.
Yes, she's
You
a
know,
fighter.
she's one of the best final girls in Soul Survivors.
Yes.
A lot of respect for Nancy Thompson and Heather Langenkamp from us here at Scream
Mad
Queens.
respect. She
So-
is a mama.
Yeah. Knife ratings. Let's go there. I'm going. I'll start first.
Oh, you're going?
I'm gonna go
Oh,
first.
shit. You gonna pop off?
Well, just because I'm ready.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm going to go 4.5.
Oh, okay.
Only because the original is a perfect 5.
Right.
And this one is just right there, just right
Mhm.
below it a notch. And so 4.5. Nothing can be as great as the original. So
Okay, damn it. I was going, 4.5. And I thought, honestly, that you were going to give it a 4. So I thought if I said mine first, that I was going to be all like, 4.5. And you're like, okay. I'm glad that we're both 4.5 in
yeah,
this.
4.5. This
Yeah.
is one of my favorite entries in the Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street, and then Scream. And Scream, they're kind of neck and neck. Both of them had a lot to do with my love of horror as a kid.
Yeah. And growing up, like, you're just kind of like, if you're a kid of the 90s, you're like a West kid.
Yeah, I
Like,
saw
you
Nightmare on
just-
Elm Street first, watched
You've
all
seen
those
so
series.
much, yeah.
Probably like in 5th, 6th grade, and a year or two later, Scream came out and was obsessed. So
Wes has definitely, like, brought more fright in my life than any other, like, horror director that I've watched, because I've watched his movies, it seems, the most.
Yeah.
Like, I've grown up on
And I love that he
his
gets the
movies.
title card. It's not
Yeah.
just called New Nightmare. It's
No.
Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Yeah.
And it lends itself, like, gives the kudos to him. And it's also fitting for the theme and the story of the movie because he is writing this
Yes.
opus. They sit there and start reading it at the end.
To me, that's even a little meta itself. Like
Yeah.
the title is what
Wes Craven, yeah.
even the character in the movie is doing, and so kudos. Yeah, and I mean, I know that New Nightmare is not everyone's favorite in this franchise, so I'm sure some people might think like, oh, really? You guys are going to give it so high rating? Yes, we are. That's our love. That's our love language.
We don't judge you, don't
not
judge us.
Yeah. And I would love to know, like, what y'all...
Just
what
sound
are
off,
y'all's-
let us know.
Yeah, ratings. Tell me 1 through... maybe, you know what, Josh? Let's share ours.
Yeah.
We'll post
Yeah, we'll do that
ours.
soon. Keep a lookout.
And because that's only fair, right? So
That's
we will
right.
post ours after we post this entire,
And we have some
episode.
exciting things coming up. We have kind of partnered with Candle and Create.
Yes.
To,
You guys, this is super exciting.
Yeah, keep an eye out for some awesome cocktails from some awesome people. They're doing some personal.
Yeah, Chris and Lauren, that's who's Candle Create. They make amazing drinks because we've been watching their videos for a while, and they have really good ideas. So these are also, some things that they've thought up, and they are going to be watching our movies and then creating a cocktail.
For it. And then we'll be posting all that and links to their profile so you can check out more of what they're up to. You'll get to make our, a signature cocktail. They are creating signature cocktails
Yes.
for us. Then you can make it at home.
Yes.
And drink it and watch the movie and listen to our podcast.
Absolutely, all the things. So
You can't drink and drive though. You can't be
No.
listening in your car and having the cocktail.
no,
but
be responsible.
have a nice
'cause
little evening
we're
at home.
Not doing that either.
Yeah.
um,
But yeah, we'll be making the cocktails and drinking them. So yeah, that's really fun, and we're excited about that.
And during the pandemic, I was definitely in the category of the people that wanted to start making cocktails from home. So, some people took on crocheting, other people took
Made
on
bread.
Yes, making bread. Other people were like, I'm gonna do a Guinness Book World Record thing. Me, I was like, cocktails. There we
Yeah.
go. What was your thing, Joe?
Eating.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I feel like that was everyone's. So
I took on saving every small local business by ordering out every day.
That's true. That's true. We hella supported. Okay, guys, thank you so much for listening.
But we're not ready yet.
Yeah.
Don't tell them bye.
Oh no, we gotta tell them about episode 73. You're so
Yeah,
right.
we have. Yeah, next month, episode 73, we're going to be going back to our cabin that we go
it's
to
the
every
annual
year.
cabin.
And we're kind of done with Evil Dead. We will eventually figure out a way to add in Ash versus the Evil Dead, but
in some way, shape,
some
or form
capacity.
in our Scream Queens
but even just
universe
be
that
a
we're
minisode
creating.
one day.
Yeah,
we
like
haven't done a Minnesota in a long time.
in a while.
Off-road Minnesota, but
it's been a
yeah,
little difficult because Alfred Minnesodes and the pandemic.
yeah,
and
we've
it's
been
just-
it's been hard.
Sorry, guys.
Anyways, but we'll be covering 2002's Cabin Fever.
Yes.
And going to our cabin. Hopefully we don't catch any weird viruses.
I mean, because
wait.
that's what's already happening.
Yeah,
and,
this hits a little too close
Yeah.
to home right now. But yeah, check that out next month, guys.
guys, be watching Cabin Fever.
And-
Check out New Nightmare. Both of these are available on streaming
They're on Tubi.
platforms, and yeah.
Right now, they are currently on Tubi.
I think like Cabin Fever, you can even buy on Amazon for like $4.
Yeah, we'll tell you next
you've
month
bought
about
worse.
Cabin Fever. but
Okay. Anyways, we love you guys.
Go
Please
rate and review
rate
us.
And review. Yes.
Go
Scream
like and
Queens Podcast.com.
share. Just love us.
Instagram.
And we'll see you next month, guys.
Yep.
Bye.
We love you.